3, 2, 1, go. Wow, no one's saying anything this time.
Wow. Usually she like jumps in and tries to do recording over me,
no,
you know?
I told you last week. I got told off. I'm done. I'm good.
Fine,
I know my place.
Now recording, okay?
Hello and welcome to another update. No, what are we called?
Wow. What are we even called?
The Minecraft Update Podcast, episode 24. We are all here with you today. It's been a huge week for Minecraft, and we're going to be getting to that into the news. But before we do any of that, you guys, it's been a busy week. So what have you been up to?
Oh, I have been completely useless. In a small part, thanks to you.
Oh.
Ever since you released, and see, the thing is, right, you messaged me privately, and you were like, hey, thought you might like this. You knew what you were doing. You knew. And so for the past, 2 days, 3 days now, I have been obsessed with practicing terraforming with dirt layers. And I mean, that has taken up a lot of time. And besides that, I have been playing with redstone, guys. I have been playing with redstone for a build that I'm doing on TB. I'm super excited for it, but my redstone's bad, so it's taken me a lot of time to do that too.
That one's not my fault. I'm not taking responsibility for that.
Okay. Bad. Okay. Wow. Redstone's bad.
What's the redstone for? What's the plan, or is it a secret?
I'll tell you a little bit. I mean, it's only for people who listen to the podcast, right? You get like a little bit of exclusive previews here. I'm making a loan service of sorts, and I need a hidden doorway into this area. So I'm playing with creative ways to do a hidden doorway. I don't want just a pocket door. I think that's boring. So I'm just trying to,
skulk sensor.
Figure out some stuff.
Use the skulk sensor.
Oh.
But then I have to go into the deep dark.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, but
you only have to sneak in and grab one and run out again.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just have to convince somebody else to come with me, and they can be the target. I'll steal one and leave.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll go with you. Be fine.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, then I'll definitely go because it'll definitely target Foxy.
Yeah, you can get all the good stuff while I just die on repeat.
I'm okay with this. See, that sounds like a fun exploration for the three of us.
Yep, that sounds fun.
Amazing. I look forward to seeing that. So apparently, I don't know if this works on Bedrock. I assume it does. But if you want it to, if you want to mute the skulk sensor, you waterlog it so it doesn't go every time someone opens your door. That was a good impression, wasn't it?
It was amazing.
Why does it sound like something's drowning over there? Oh.
Slag, what have you been up to?
Aside from playing the update this week, it's been more about getting back on a regular schedule for me. I mean, I was anti-update forever. I think everybody here knows that. And now that the update's here, I'm just like, let's do everything update related. I told you, I don't get excited till it gets in the game. And then when it finally gets in the game, I'm all go, no quit for it. So I've been already messing around with a lot of new stuff. And of course, just returning to a normal schedule. The last 2 months, I've pretty much done an experiment with my, I would say, Twitch. I've been playing other games, doing other things, and now it's just like, after looking at all the data, it's like, yep, it's time to return to a normal schedule and go back to just doing Minecraft on my main channel.
Wow. Okay.
That's exciting. I like it when people play with like their routines and stuff, and then you get to really like look at the analytics. I think that stuff is so interesting.
Well, I'm a bit crazy. I think there's one of two ways you're a successful streamer. Either you're all game or you're all chat. You're either engaged in chat 99% of the time, or you're engaged in the game. And with Minecraft, I feel like I'm more of a chat engager. Like I actually take pride in going live and not touching the game for an hour, because I've done that several times. I take genuine pride in that. I take genuine pride in the fact that I can sit there in Minecraft and never touch the game for an hour before I do anything streaming. But with other games, I'm there for the game. I'm not there for the chat. And it's just two different feels. It's two different audiences. And for me, it just needs to be two different channels.
Well, that's it. With Minecraft, it's so like, I don't want to say boring, but it is. If you're just playing Minecraft, if you're not going on playing mini games or off on adventure or something like that, if you're just building in your world, it is effectively quite boring. So you've got to keep stuff going with your chat in order to, not bore them all to death. And I think from my experience, a lot of people have said, well, I don't even really watch your streams. I'm just there to listen. And I like that for that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. If you're playing another game like Elden Ring or whatever you play, you've got to concentrate on what you're doing. And it's action-packed, generally speaking, depending on the game. So there's less requirement to entertain people, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I watch another Minecrafter that I won't name because anyway, yesterday they were doing a hardcore run on the Warden. And this Minecraft streamer is more about the game than chat. And like chat's going like crazy, but he's totally ignoring it. And he's delivering in game. He actually made Minecraft like an action-paced thing because it's a hardcore world. I mean, he's getting hit by the Warden and he's using god apples and he's losing like all of his health and everything. And it's just like, but he like doesn't engage chat at all. But he's established that way. And I think for me at this point to switch that type of content is just no.
I think that
it's just bad.
It really depends on your personality, doesn't it? I mean, you get people with such amazing charisma, they can lead you through anything and you're just hooked from, even if they're, not talking, just their reactions and things like that. So, yeah, I think it comes down to the individual, but it does make sense what you're saying.
No. What about you, Foxy? How's your week been going? I've seen you've been putting out add-on after add-on after add-on, ruining Jessie's life over there.
Yeah, make it my life difficult.
Well, okay. So I went to bed on Sunday night at probably about 11:30 or something like that, and I can't remember what. I probably watched the film beforehand, and I was laid in bed, and I suddenly had an idea. It suddenly ticked in my brain because I don't know why, but I've been avoiding doing anything with custom blocks for the experimental stuff. I do stuff with entities all day long, but for whatever reason, I had this mental block against blocks. And then in that, I just laid there and it just, something twigged in my mind and I went, I can do all of these things. And that was it. I couldn't sleep. I was like, I can make block layers. I can make placeable items that rotate like item frames. I could probably even make vertical slabs, but that's probably a bit tricky. And then that's it. I couldn't sleep. So it got to about, I tossed and turned until about midnight, and then I just got up. And that was it. I didn't go back to bed after that. I spent the entire night making block layers, which is gravel, dirt, and sand, placeable layers, just like snow layers, apart from they don't melt, obviously. And then I made the placeable items one, which is actually, without wanting to bore everyone to death with the technicalities, but it's the process that I actually did to do that. It's really quite interesting because obviously you've got all of these items in the game, but that's just a picture. There's no associated model or anything with that. So I had to write some sort of scripts on my website to analyze each picture, work out where the pixels were in it and what color those pixels were, and then create like unique block geometry for each one of those items in the game so that you could render it as a block, and then obviously work out how to place it on blocks and do I really enjoyed it. It was something I've never done with add-ons before, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then that led me on to doing a vertical slabs stream, an add-on stream, trying to do it in that, and I didn't think we would achieve it. And at the end of the stream it was a little bit not ideal, but after the stream I spent a couple of hours on it and really tightened it up, and I'm really happy with that now. It works great. So yeah, that's been my week, and as a result I haven't spent 1 minute in 1.19 yet. I've done nothing. So yeah, but I've had a thoroughly good time. I've really enjoyed it, but I am glad that that's all done. I've still got a lot to-do list of many things to do, like updating patron servers and sorting all the sorts of stuff like that out. But I'm hoping that next week, getting into Monday, all that's going to be done, and I will just be cracking on as usual and actually playing in 1.19. That'd be nice.
No, you mean play the game that you make stuff for.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's really good to hear you so excited, though. Like, this is the most excited I've heard you in a long time about Minecraft in general. So I'm like, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I just wish these things would be out of experimental now. The holiday creator features were supposed to be an experiment for the holidays of 2020. No, I think it was 2019. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. And they're still in experimental now. And as soon as they come out, the world's just... I mean, I know I can make add-ons for it now, but I can't do anything marketplace related with those until they're out of experimental. So I'm really excited for that to happen.
Yeah.
But I've no idea when it'll be. So I'll just carry on tinkering and playing with stuff and seeing how it goes. So, yeah, keep your eyes peeled for more stuff. No doubt I'll have even more ideas soon on those, but who knows? But what I do know is it's time to go and see the feedback, of which I've completely forgotten to put people's names on. Not your people's that's written in, but Slack's and Jessie's and mine.
Oh.
Which means we're going to have to remember who did what, which sounds easy, but we're all useless.
Good talk.
So,
Good talk.
So I'm going to start with Benji, who says, "Hey, Foxy, Jessie, and Slack, ready for a tiny book? When I went to check out your website for the pod, immediately a big picture Minecraft Update Pod logo showed up and said website coming soon. I don't know if you said the previous pod that you were shutting it down for a bit, etc., but I know you said the website was done. Maybe it's just a bug or something. I thought I would let you know anyway. Maybe I'm just not tech savvy enough for this. Thanks for such a great pod." Benji, I think you've got your wires crossed, my friend. I've never done anything with the Minecraft Update Pod website yet. I've done many things with my own website. I even have a new one that's done and waiting for me to release it. But I haven't done the Minecraft Update podcast one. So, yeah, sorry. Sorry if I've confused people with that one. I'll do it at some point. It's on the list.
It'll be another midnight project, right?
No more midnight. Do you know,
like
it took me nearly a week to catch up with that. I was so tired for like 3 days. I'm too old to do all-nighters.
I swear, the older you get, your body is like, you remember that night that you skipped these hours of sleep? We're going to make up for it today.
Yeah, and then tomorrow, and then the next day.
Yeah.
Jeez, right. Jessie, what's Turtle Brian got to say?
Turtle Brian says, Turtle Brian here, just wanted to say that your show coming out is the highlight of my week, and enjoy all the content you guys put out. Hope for more in the future. P.S. Why do you think Mojang doesn't want to add sideways slabs to the game, as I think they would make a great addition to creativity?
Well, it's funny you should say that, Turtle Brian, because I just happen to have finished an add-on that allows you to have every single slab in the game as a vertical slab, and it works very well. I was actually having a conversation with people about this in my Discord, and someone pointed out they wanted to paste a link, but there was basically Mojang said ages ago, because obviously this vertical slabs had been on the feedback website forever, and one of them just came back, the developers, and said no, furniture and vertical slabs is too, it takes away players' creativity, so it's not going to happen. And I thought, I can understand that with furniture to a degree. But vertical slabs, if you're going to have that opinion on vertical slabs, you've got to have that opinion on normal slabs, because what's the difference? And I think that they was just so sick of hearing people asking for them that they just got fed up, and they've just got this blanket no creativity answer, because it doesn't make sense. What do you guys think? Does it make sense?
No, I think that's one of those things that I agree with you. It doesn't make sense to me that isn't a function that, I don't know how to word it. I don't know how to word what I'm trying to say. It just doesn't make sense that they categorize that in with furniture, because yeah, I agree. Furniture seems like very modded and stuff like that. Vertical slabs don't seem modded to me. It just seems like, yeah, that's the next progression.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, it's no different from a normal slab. It's exactly the same thing, just rotated 90 degrees. So
Yeah.
I don't get it. What do you think, Slack?
Well, playing another game that has vertical slabs with 7 days, separating your blocks in quotations from furniture, that's just a blanket excuse that they're using there, because there's other games that have vertical slabs, and they have corner slabs, and they have ramps, and they have wedges, and they have tips, and they have all these other different blocks, and you can still be just as creative. You can separate the block in quotation from the furniture. Okay, so you don't want to add chairs, and you don't want to add refrigerators and tables and stuff. Fine, that's perfectly fine. Don't. But really, to say that a vertical slab is the same thing, get out of here. You just don't like it. You just don't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only thing to it. You don't
feels.
like it, so you're going to find any excuse to say no.
Do you know what I think it could be? And this is probably quite a valid reason, but obviously making the pack, getting the textures right. And you know how Mojang complain about, we can't do this type of wall, or we struggle with this type of stair because the textures don't line up on certain orientations. use, because I haven't added any textures into that pack. It just uses the vanilla textures. So if you've got a resource pack on, it will use the same as your resource pack. Getting the blocks when they're sideways to look right and to line up was an absolute nightmare. And sometimes it does look a bit weird and it looks a bit janky, but it gets away with it on the most part. Particularly things like the new mud bricks, their texture's kind of weird on its side, and like tiling it on its side's a bit strange. So that might be their like behind the scenes reasoning. But if that's the case, why don't they just say, because it's too hard?
Yeah. Don't lie to us. Just state the truth. No, no, it's too much work. We're not doing it. And I guarantee the community would be like, here, have money, do it. But,
right.
Yeah.
Don't need the money. I did it for free, mate. It's all good. Right.
Just hire Foxy.
Yeah. Give me a job, Mo Yang. I'm good at this stuff. I fix it for you. Don't worry about it. Slack, what's Balrog got to say?
Balrog says, when shall we address Jessie's apparent gambling addiction? Does the community need to do an intervention? How many times did she say, I'm all in last podcast? We clearly need to help her. Jessie, do you have a problem?
That's so funny. I said I'm all in this time too. Like already today, I have said I'm all in. I'm starting to think I have a problem with the phrase, I guess. I really like trying to do new things in Minecraft. In real life, I am the opposite. I've been to casinos. I lived in Vegas. I hate gambling, like in real life. In Minecraft, it's fun. It's something that's different. It's something that I get to play around with. I can add personality to it. So no, you don't need an intervention, but enjoy the random Jessie chaos. It's fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fun. I don't think we should take it seriously, and I'm pretty sure that message isn't serious. I'm pretty sure it's all good fun. So
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's a joke, and I'm pretty sure that's just one of your filler phrases. We all have them.
Yeah,
we all develop little phrases that we find ourselves saying over and over again before we move on from it. So I think it's fine. I'm all in. Right, moving on. Balrog also says, season change thing. We now have a precedent mechanic for preventing block changes in copper. Waxing leaves to preserve them would be one way of preventing changes in builds that we're not expecting them to. Didn't we cover that last week when we were talking about seasons?
I think that's what their comment is in regards to. We were talking about potentially doing something to leaves to prevent them from changing if we had seasons.
Yeah. So they're just reiterating what we've said then, or did we not? I'm sure we said about using wax or something to preserve the state of things. Did we not?
I think we may have said honeycombs or something. It's probably the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
It was the same gist.
In that case, Mr. Balrog, totally agree with you.
Rusty Shackelford says, feedback regarding the innuendo discussion. I'm on board with having innuendos. I look back at the cartoons I watched as a kid, which I was able to find on DVD, and I find myself enjoying them as an adult, not because of nostalgia, but because they are humorous on a new level. Animaniacs, SpongeBob, Rocko's Modern Life, The Proud Family, the list goes on and on. There are some things I am amazed they were allowed to have on TV, but the 90s and 2000s were so vastly different from today. Makes me wonder what changed. Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about last week is I've gone back since and I've watched specifically Rocko's Modern Life. And I remember as a kid being so amused by like the silly, stupid jokes they make, right? Like just the ones totally aimed at children and just being like enthralled. I was amused. I loved it, watched it with my mom. Like it was great. Now going back, I look back at that and I'm like, oh my goodness, like how much they got away with and how completely inappropriate some of the things are. It just blows my mind. However, I very vividly remember being a kid and it completely going over my head. Like I had no idea why certain things my mom would laugh at and I didn't. So I think it's just normal. I think it's something that shows and content creators and stuff do to kind of appeal to the older generation while still, I guess, being family friendly. So yeah, I definitely think personally innuendo doesn't make you not family friendly.
I completely agree. And I know things have changed, and I know times are different. And I know kids these days, or a little bit older kids at least, are a little bit more switched on with access to the internet. But I completely agree. You've got to be, if you want to put content out that you want everybody to be available to, or you want everybody to enjoy, you can't set your standards as making just kids jokes all day long. Or, you know, you've got to hook people in one way or another. And I know the community around me, my Discord peeps and my VIPs, my patrons, they love that side of my stuff, because that's, you know, that's why they come. That's why they turn up. So I think just going, oh yeah, we're not going to do any innuendos just in case, I think it's ridiculous. As Jessie's just pointed out, we all did it as kids. As an adult, you see it and you're like, oh my goodness, but the kid's totally oblivious. And I catch Oliver sometimes. We'll be watching something on TV and something will happen and I'll laugh and he'll look at me and he'll laugh because I'm laughing. But he doesn't, you can see in his face, I don't know why you're laughing, but I'm laughing. So I think it's fine. Slack.
Or if like you have an inside joke too, like I know you have some, I have some, we all have some that our community's aware of. Sometimes you'll say something and it'll be referenced to that. You know, it's just, it is what it is. I don't know. Well, I feel like we beat this horse to death. It's just,
yeah.
Well, there is another point of view on this, and it's something that I see becoming more common. It's certainly not the majority, but I've heard a lot of people over the last few years saying that they don't even worry about like swearing or anything around their kids now because they're just so attuned to it with school and the internet and iPads and stuff like that. And it's kind of taking the sting out of it. Now, I don't personally agree with that because I don't want my kids thinking that's okay for them to do. But I know that they hear it. I know they hear it out and about. I know they see it. I mean, I had the amount of people I've banned Oliver from watching on kids' YouTube because stuff slips through there. He's aware of it, but he's smart enough to know I'm not going to repeat that. So I think the way the world's going, as much as we're trying to protect kids more and more and more, I think, and that side of things, bad language and innuendo and stuff like that, I think it's just becoming more commonplace. And you see it with films. We talked about it last week about like Marvel films. You can't watch a Marvel film without the S word in there now. So, you know, I think I'm not worried about it.
Times are shifting a bit.
Yeah. And it's just with the amount of people that throw their children in front of digital babysitters or anything else like that. And it's just the exposure. I mean, it's almost impossible this day and age. I'm not saying it is impossible. I'm just saying you have to go really out of your way. It feels like to avoid it. Yeah, exactly. So innuendos that are not intentionally vulgar or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's just, hey, it's a minor thing.
Without wanting to keep beating this drum, it is impossible. Yeah. As a parent, I'll say it's absolutely impossible because, and that sounds like an excuse, but go back before iPads or like that sort of thing existed. The kids would either watch TV, which was controlled by the government to have stuff that wasn't suitable until after bedtime, or they'd be in their room playing, or they'd be out with their friends. Now, you don't know what they're doing when they're out with their friends, but you would hope because none of them had access to this sort of stuff, it was probably, you know, relatively safe stuff that they were talking about. In their room, they've got no access to that. Now, you can't expect any parent that's child has an iPad or something like that to just sit and watch everything that they're doing with them because you've got other stuff to do. You've got to maintain your household. You've got to go to work. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. It's not an acceptable thing to do. And while family settings do exist on these tools, they're not great. They're not easy to set up. They're not ideal. And I think to say to someone, well, you shouldn't give them an iPad then. You shouldn't give them that. Well, sorry. The world we live in these days, that's just the norm. If you tell a kid they can't have an iPad, well, all my friends at school have got one, and they all have, you know, so it's not fair. So I don't think that's an excuse we can have anymore. And I think it's impossible to deal with, and that's just how life is. So we just got to adapt. Anyway, moving on. Bait Boy
says, "Hey guys, I just wanted to say that the podcast is epic and I enjoy all your content. Keep up the great work."
Thank you.
Yay.
What a lovely piece of feedback. That's really lovely. Thank you, Bait Boy. Right. And that is, unfortunately, the last piece of feedback we've got this week, which leads us into the news. But before we get there, I just want to remind you, if you want to leave us some feedback, then you can send an email to news@theminecraftupdate.com, or you can go to the minecraftupdate.com website, which isn't finished, but there is a link there to the feedback form, which you can leave feedback on. Now, obviously, this week in the news, there has been the official 1.9 release on Java Edition and Bedrock Edition. And I'm going to start by reading the world's longest changelogs. No, I'm not going to go through it all. I'm not going to go through it all. Even if this is the first time you've been here, obviously, we've been talking about all of the things coming up in the Wild Update for months. So if you don't know what's in it, I strongly suggest you go and find the changelog, which will be linked in the description below, and read it while I just very quickly skim through them both, sort of, a bit.
Fair.
So, is that fair, guys?
I think so, yeah.
Legit. Yep, let's go.
Okay, well, I'm going to read the blurb at the top of the Java one because it's always nice to see that they've got a little... Well, I say it's a story. It's not really a story. It's just to sort of lure you in. It says, "Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. I was too busy inspecting these mangrove tree roots. They're all tangled up. What do you mean they're supposed to be? Hey, that's pretty neat." That's a good excuse for not having to do a good job with them, isn't it? Just, oh, it's supposed to be rubbish.
No. Why does it look bad?
Yeah.
It's supposed to. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to. Oh, okay, fair dues. No, you've done a good job then. Well, while we're on topic, have you had any chance to check out the other spiffy stuff that we added into Minecraft today? Because the Wild Update has officially launched, and now the overworld is full of frogs, allays, wardens, shudder, mud, boats, and chests, new music, and much, much more. You can check out the list below for all the details. I'm too busy making heart-eye at these cute propagules to go through them all, so that's basically my sentiment here. I'm too busy thinking of other things to have to go through them all. But yeah, I like the fact that they say that the world is full of frogs, allays, and wardens. We know from experience and obviously the other news today that we haven't talked about it yet, that allays not, they're not full. The world's not full of allays, is it, guys?
No.
Nope.
No. Right. Okay. So basically, in the update, if you're not aware, we've got a new biome called the mangrove swamp, and that's got mangrove trees. It's got mud blocks and mud bricks. It's got mangrove. Obviously, the trees come with new wood type, new leaves, new roots, mud roots, and obviously they've got a new sapling type, which is kind of a little bit like cocoa beans in the fact that it grows on the tree rather than it just drops from the leaves when they break, but it grows off the leaves. And the propagule can be grown on land or underwater as well. So that's kind of interesting. They've added clay renewability, which allows you to basically get some mud and dry it out on top of dripstone in order to make clay. And you can even turn mud in... No, you can... What is it you splash with water to turn it into mud? Is it just dirt?
Dirt.
Yeah.
Dirt. Yep.
So you can even make your own mud if you want to. They've added frogs and tadpoles, which will appear in various biomes. Oh no, I think are they just swamps and mangrove swamps? But they'll breed. You can breed them in different biomes to basically get different colours. And then there's the whole stuff that should have been in 1.17, which then should have been in 1.18, and now it's finally in 1.19, which is the deep dark biome. Ancient cities, the warden, the skulk stuff, and all that sort of stuff. And if you're not aware of that already, then you've been missing for a couple of years. So I'm not going to go into that. What is new from those things, though, is the new music disc 5. We've got an echo shard and a recovery compass, and there's a new enchantment called Swift Sneak that you can put. Did they move it onto leggings, or is it still on boots?
Yeah. No, it's on your pants now.
It's on leggings now. Okay, so you put that on your leggings, and it means, well, when you're sneaking, you can go a bit quicker, which is nice. There's also the new Allay mob, which was the mob vote winner for, was it last year's Minecon Live?
Oh, God, I don't even remember. I think so. Yeah.
Which is surprisingly fun mob. Apart from, I love the sounds it makes. I just wish it didn't make them constantly because it is annoying to have around you. But it will pick, you can give it an item. It will follow you around and pick up other items like that it finds. They are very rare. You find them in pillager outposts sometimes or woodland mansions sometimes. So you've got to go a long way to get a lot of them. And in the update as it is at the moment, they're not renewable. So, you get a handful of them. That's it. However, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. There's also boats with chests, which obviously allow you to transport things around. They work with hoppers as well, so that adds a new thing into redstone. The skulk sensors add a whole new wireless redstone to the game, which is absolutely fantastic. It says, this is Java Edition. Leaves are now waterloggable. I didn't realize that they weren't before. And they've changed a whole bunch of things as well. There's many bug fixes. There's the goat horns, which will drop. We don't get the copper goat horns. They sack those off, but there are, I think, 8 different goat horns that you can get. Yes, 8, and 4 of them are exclusive to screaming goats, it says. And when you play those, they play a different sound. There are a bunch of new enchantments. No, not enchantments. Advancements. There's it spreads, which you get for killing a mob near a Skulk Catalyst. You've got a friend in me for having an allay deliver items to you. The birthday song for having an allay drop a cake near a note block. With our powers combined for having all frog lights in your inventory. I didn't mention frog lights, which you get from feeding frogs slime. Magma cream. Yeah, if you get a frog to eat a magma cream, it'll drop a frog light, and there's 3 different colours of those. Bucket for catching a tadpole in a bucket. From dirt to mud for using a water bottle on dirt. When the squad hops into town for getting each frog variant on a lead. Sneak 100 for sneaking near a skulk sensor or warden to prevent it detecting you. And they've added the darkness effect to the How Did We Get Here advancement. Bear in mind, this is the Java Edition changelog. We don't have the How Did We Get Here advancement on Bedrock Edition because I don't think it's possible to do. Is it?
Don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it's currently possible to do on Bedrock at all.
No, I didn't think so. So there's 4 new music tracks as well called Ancestry, Airy, Fire, Bugs, and Labyrinth. And they play in certain biomes that you go round. The nether mobs are going to actually spawn in light levels of up to 11 now, which means the nether's going to be slightly more daunting. And not broken, but they've prevented mobs from going straight through nether portals on Java Edition, haven't they? Which has broken all of the gas farms and things like that everybody had on the nether roof. And
what?
Yeah, it was a big thing. I don't think they rolled it back, did they? It says here, it makes it possible for mobs to spawn into this because of the light level change. It makes it possible for mobs to spawn inside of nether portals, which causes them to instantly change dimensions after spawning. Our intent for the future is to prevent most mobs from spawning in the nether portals, and ones that do will not immediately travel through the portal. Expect to see these changes in the coming version. So that's not changed yet, but that is a planned change. Please don't bring that to Bedrock Edition because you killed my Guardian farm, bro.
I was just thinking that. Oh, no.
I think it's currently broken anyway because on Bedrock Edition they broke. Well, there's a bug at the minute that I believe has been fixed in the betas, which means that if an entity goes through a nether portal, and it's not loaded the other side, it just vanishes. It was just crashing your world completely, but now I think it vanishes. But
you think that's current right now?
Well, it says it's been fixed in 3 different 1.19.10 changelogs for Bedrock Edition. So,
well, I can tell you for certain your Guardian farm's fine. I healed my Elytra today.
Oh, well, there you go then. That is. Maybe they broke it in one of the betas and then they fixed it again. Then, so that's good. Java Edition's also had a whole bunch of other stuff like new commands, game events, chat stuff, millions and millions of things, and I can't look the list is just endless. So I can't go through it all.
Bedrock?
Pardon?
I said, how about we jump to the Bedrock side?
Yes. Yeah, the Bedrock one. Believe it or not, the Bedrock one's not quite as long because obviously they don't write for particularly long changelogs for Bedrock Edition.
It's pretty long.
But it is pretty long, but it's pretty much exactly what I just said for Java Edition. So there's not much else. To be honest, they've done a very good job of bringing them both in line with each other this time. There's a few differences when it comes to the Skulk sensor on Bedrock that it just can't detect the same range of stuff that they detect on Java Edition. And we've only actually got 4 new achievements. We've got It Spreads, Birthday Song, With Our Powers Combined, and Sneak 100. So we haven't got a whole bunch of those. We got a whole bunch of vanilla parity. So we've got, updated textures. Fences and walls no longer connect to bells and brewing stands. Fix bugs where brewing stands' arms textures did not touch the bed. Just loads of stuff. Loads of stuff with the Wandering Trader. Shulkers can be duped. Oh, no, that was in 1.18.31, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's not news. And, yeah, pretty much everything's the same, really. So...
Hey, slab placement's been fixed.
Oh, yeah. Yay! We can place slabs in a line again. Hooray! Without having to place them individually. So that's good news. So, yeah, again, if you want to check out the changelogs for those, they will be listed in the description below. So make sure you check them out if you're interested in a whole bunch of reading, because it's ridiculous. Right. And that is enough of Minecraft 1.19 in terms of the news. We're going to go back into we're going to get into discussing that after the other piece of news, which is... Oh, no, there's 2 more pieces of news, actually, but they're kind of combined. And the next one is the Minecraft preview 1.19.10.22 was released. And this answers all of our issues to do with the allays being so rare. So, for example, on Trudy Bedrock, I think Silent Whisper said he went about 20,000 blocks looking for woodland mansions and only found about 3 allays. And Mr. Beardstone then went out in a different direction and found, 5 and then another 6 somewhere else and only went half the distance. But the fact is, they are pretty rare. And Mojang are aware of that. They were aware that, obviously, world file sizes are going through the roof because of all the exploration that's been doing. So they have added in a way to actually duplicate allays, and they actually call it duplication. It's written in the changelog as allay duplication. Obviously, duplication normally a big no-no for Minecraft, but I think it's a really fun system, although I do think they've missed a trick on it, which we'll get to with the last piece of news, which is a Twitter post, and that's that in order to get them to duplicate, you have to play music at a jukebox. If the allay's close enough, it'll start to dance. Then you give it an amethyst shard, and it will literally just split in two, and you get 2 allays, which is absolutely fantastic. Then they've got a 2.5 minute cooldown on both of those before you can duplicate them again. And it just made sense to... I understand why they've used the amethyst shard, and the tweet I'm going to read in a second explains it from Mojang's point of view. But wouldn't it make more sense to use the echo shard, because then it's like making an echo of the allay?
Yeah, I totally agree. That's when I read that and I saw amethyst, I was like, no, missed opportunity.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, they've written the changelog wrong surely, and they went into game to text it, and I was like, no, it's definitely amethyst shard. So this is Alexander Ostman's reasoning for that, and he's a Minecraft developer, and it says, seeing some questions as to why we landed on the amethyst shards as the item for allay duplication. 1, they have musical sound to them, which goes well with the allays. 2, they're renewable for something we really wanted. And 3, the magical feeling of them resonates, pun intended, well with the allays. Also adding extra value to the geodes felt proper as well. So that makes sense. I can understand that, because you can obviously go to geodes, you can grow more of the amethyst shards, and then you can duplicate your allays in the future should you lose any. But I think it's too easy. I think it's way too easy, and I know the echo shards are very rare. Now, I think there's a chance of getting up to 8 in an ancient city, but sometimes you can only find a couple, which means you've got to do a lot of exploring for them. But as things are at the moment, there's no real other use for the echo shard other than the recovery compass, which is an item that most people realistically aren't going to use that often. So making them slightly less rare in the ancient cities, let's say there was always at least 2 or 3 in every chest in the ancient city, means you've got to do some work, but that just makes more sense to me, right? Because it's not going to... Who cares if people got a whole stack of recovery compasses? It doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The recovery compass is really going to help on the hardcore worlds, just saying.
Yeah, exactly. So someone else, I read that actually, someone was saying on Twitter, it's another thread saying that, this wouldn't it be great if it was the echo shards for hardcore reasons exactly, because that actually gives them a reason to go to the deep dark and makes it a really fun and daunting process and would be really entertaining. So I get it. I totally get that. I'm not against it being the amethyst shard, and for those reasons, I do think it's fun for it to be that, but I just think then everyone's just going to have a million allays kicking about all the time, which is not going to affect the world file size, but it's going to make everything really laggy. So,
because they're probably going to count towards global mob cap, and then somebody's going to load in 200 of them to sort every item at a raid farm or something else. And
it'll happen. No. It's going to be on TV.
I want to spit out all the bows and armor, and I want to put all the bows into this as fuel, and I want to put all the armor in here to be smelted.
Yeah, and it'll be, this farm's too fast. I actually need 3 allays for each of the items. Yeah. So,
Yeah. So Jessie's going to put a ban on the number of allays that we can have each.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
You'll be like, nope, done.
The thing is, this just comes back to the other issue I've got with Minecraft farming as a whole, and that's that this desire, this race to have the biggest and the best farm. And people bang on about it's efficient, it's the most efficient farm. It's not. If you've got a farm that spits out 10,000 or 100,000 or 1 million items an hour, it is not efficient. It might be efficient at producing those items, but an efficient farm, efficiency, is more encompassing than that. Efficient means you're getting the right amount out that you need. You wouldn't have a factory massively overproducing stuff and then it's all just sat there going nowhere because it's taking up space, it's costing room for storage and things like that. And Minecraft's the same. If you're pumping out that many items, you need more storage, you need more space. It's not efficient on that respect. So I believe in making farms that are good farms, and obviously I make big farms for the views because that's what people want to watch. But when I'm actually playing the game, I make a farm that's going to make me the number of items I need. And if I'm going to be in a world for a year, I don't need that farm to spit out 100,000 items an hour. Maybe 10, 20, or even 100 would do, depending on what it is. So, yeah, I just see SMPs like ours, where it's content creators, just being killed by LA spam.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah, without doubt, yeah. I agree on the rule, Jessiie. Yep. Limit the number.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be bad.
You're allowed 5 each, and they've got to be in different chunks.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes, please.
No, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It might be all right. Right, okay.
Yeah.
Other news in this this changelog, there's a couple of vanilla parity changes. They've changed the flowered azalea leaves to flowering azalea leaves, because that's going to make a big difference. The goat horn now has the same sound for the call variant as Java Edition, and the last sound for goat horn was renamed from Resist to Dream to match Java Edition. Spectator mode? I'm reading two words at the same time. Spectator mode, whilst in spectator mode, acts as in other chunks so that loaded, no longer called away, which basically means if you go into spectator mode and there's an entity in another chunk, it doesn't disappear anymore. You can actually still see them. Allays can now follow the players through nether portals as well. So all of the work they did in the last changelog for the nether portals not putting you in the wrong place means that the allays can go through. And while I was making my update video on this today, it was actually really interesting how it worked, because I thought the allay would have to actually touch the nether portal to go through with you, but it doesn't. As soon as you go through, it teleports with you, and it doesn't even have to be that close to the nether portal. And I didn't test how far away it is, but I'm slightly concerned that, let's say I've got an allay at one end of my base that's loaded, that's my friend because it's got an item and it's working hard, and I pop through into the nether, it's going to appear with me on the other side. That might be a problem, guys.
Yeah. There has to
I
be a
didn't really
proximity
think
to
of
the player that they're detecting.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, the one that I went through with one on a lead. The lead broke and stayed in the overworld. The allay came through with me, but another one that was probably 10 or 20 blocks away also came through with me as well. So,
ooh, 10, 20 blocks, that makes me real nervous.
Yeah.
That makes me real nervous.
So you're going to want nether portals a long way away from any allays you've got working in your farms. Let's put it that way. We'll have to check on that. I don't know the exact distance, but I mean, when it was flying around, it seemed like a distance. So, yeah. Right, what else have we got going on with this changelog? The Skulk Catalysts have had an update. The Skulk Catalysts are the blocks that when a mob dies near it, it will spread Skulk on the floor dependent on how much XP that mob was holding. And it used to do it if a mob died near two of them, both of them would activate, but now only the closest one will do it, which also means that the It Spreads achievement, you don't get it anymore unless the mob actually has XP. So if it's a mob that has no XP when you kill it, like a baby mob or something like that, you won't get that achievement. So you've got to kill a mob, or a mob has to die near it when, that has XP. The frogs will no longer lay frog spawn in shallow or flowing water. And there's a bunch of other things in there as well to do with player hunger and that sort of stuff. But there's not much, which leads me to believe that they're probably getting on towards being finished with that. However, there are a few changes. Believe it or not, I've never seen changes in one of these changelogs that affect custom blocks before, but this one's got millions. So all of the things I've just done with custom blocks are going to have to change when this update comes out, which is... When I made them, I was thinking, I finally got an add-on. I'm never going to have to update. It's just, we'll be able to work forever. And now there's loads of stuff that's changed with all of how they work. So that's great. Thanks, guys. Jeez. Right. Any thoughts on any of that before we move on?
Nope.
I don't understand the LA teleporting one. I hope that doesn't affect other mobs as a side effect of it. Because, like, you can't go through a portal with your horse or anything like that. You have to get off. You have to push it through and everything like that.
Yeah. How's
that going to work in the future? Is it going to affect other mobs? Or is it just specifically to the LA?
I believe it's just to that, but it doesn't... I understand why they've done that, but you know, because it floats around. It's not like a dog that just follows you or a horse that's going to stay roughly where you put it. But you can put an allay on a lead. So why can't you just put it on a lead and like pull it through first and then you follow it? So yeah, it does seem like a bit unnecessary to do that. Although it is nice when you just go through and it's there with you, I guess. So let's just hope they tweak it so it's not too big a range when it works. Right.
Yeah.
That is it for the news. And we would normally be going into the Bugdate now, but instead we're actually going to have a discussion on the Wild update because it's out and I thought it'd be an important thing to do. And I've written a few bullet points, which are basically questions, and I'm going to ask the other two, them rabble that's with me in today's podcast, what they think, and then I'll put my oar in there as well on occasion as well. So
sounds good.
The first thing is, Jessie and Slack, what do we like about the Wild update? Slack. Oh, okay, Jessie. Jeez, jump in there.
I was going to say, there's only one thing I like so far, and that feels icky, but the one thing I like is the color of the mangrove wood. It's a new saturation of red that I really like, and it's been fun trying to complement it with random other blocks we have in the game. So right now, I'm really enjoying trying to find complementary things to use it for right now.
I would imagine that dark oak maybe goes relatively well with it because that's got a warmth to it, but then spruce is quite green, so I imagine that's probably not. I'm thinking of the log colour rather than the plant colour. I can't imagine that the spruce logs go ever so well.
It actually isn't bad. It's not completely wrong. So yeah, I've been playing with trying to combine things that aren't super obvious. Like the dark oak, I think, is probably the best complement for it. But I don't want everything that I build with it to just be dark oak and mangrove. So I've been having fun trying to find things that don't look awful and are fun to use. So yeah, it's been a good time so far.
Slack, what do you like?
I'd have to tap into the first two questions. What do I like and dislike? There's two things, and I love the new swamp. I've been to one and obliterated one just to get mud to bring back to make pack mud and everything out of. But while I was obliterating the swamp of the mud, because it's like, 3 or 4 layers deep, as I was going down, the roots of the new trees extended down. And as I got down to the stone layers, I was looking up at it and I was like, this is how it should be. The mud should have been just a few layers deeper, because you got the roots that go deep down into the mud. And then if the mud had started there, it really makes me want to go live in a swamp. It's just a shame that we don't have none of those near us.
No. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So the root, I didn't realize that the roots actually go quite deep into the mud.
Yes. They go all the way to the stone.
Wow. Okay. That's quite interesting. So yeah, if the mud was lower and the roots was higher, is that what you mean? So you're getting more of that, because at the moment they're quite low to the ground, aren't they? The bases, and there's hardly much wood between the roots and the leaves, is there?
Yeah. And it's just, it's tight quarters and I like it. But as you remove the mud, if you were just take the mud just down 3 layers, go down to the stone and then change the stone out for the mud. Oh my God. It gives it a nice, even spookier feel. Don't get me wrong. I love the way the swamp feels, especially at night, and especially with nothing else spawning there. It's absolutely great. But if it could drop down just a little bit more, and I didn't know that. Does nothing spawn there? Is that an intended feature?
No, but it's something I picked up on in the betas. So the for whatever reason, and I don't know why it is, and I don't know if the swamp's the same, but the mangrove swamp biome file doesn't have the monsters tag, which means no hostile mobs can spawn there, unless they specifically got that in that actual monsters thing. So yeah, it's completely mob free biome.
It's definitely interesting. Yeah, so it's like a mushroom island right now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if phantoms would spawn. Probably not. I don't know.
I wonder if, because I went to one by our mining mesa, and there were zombies and, actually now that I think about it, they were husks. So they must have spawned further away and just walked to me.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was like, because I definitely got attacked when I was over there at night. And wow, slime still obviously spawned. But that's really interesting.
Yeah, interestingly enough, though, mobs will spawn in the deep dark. when they're not supposed to. So, yeah.
Are they not?
No.
I thought that they changed it so that they do spawn.
No, because they're not. There's not supposed to be anything down there other than the player that can make the warden spawn. And if you've got mobs walking around in there, then it's just going to be spawning like crazy. So yeah. I'm just trying to bring up actually while we're talking the mangrove biome file just to see if it's actually changed. I've just found it now, and yeah, there's tags at the bottom of the file that tell it like what mobs to spawn and what type of biome it is, and all it's got is overworld and mangrove swamp. Whereas if I pick out meadow biome, for instance, it's got mountains to make sure, tell it it's a mountain, monster, which allows mobs to spawn there, overworld, meadow, and bee habitat, which means when trees grow, there's a chance that it has beehives on there. I don't know what the deep dark one, though, says. Deep dark has caves, deep dark, and overworld, so there's no monster one on there. So again, maybe in the deep dark, it's just monsters spawning near it and wandering in.
And then walking. Yeah.
But yeah, it does seem I've seen quite a few mobs in the deep dark quite regularly doing my videos. So I've actually started putting my worlds on peaceful, or not peaceful, sorry, mob spawning turned off in order to do the videos down there. So yeah. Right. Okay. So Slack, you said there was something you don't like as well when talking about swamps. Was
that was it? It just felt like that the two were combined. It should have been. It feels like it just should have been that. That's the one thing I don't like about it, is that it's too tight to the ground.
Jessiie, what don't you like about
the generation of the mangrove trees? They are awful, and either you get trees that are 1 million blocks high, or you get 3 pieces of wood. And that is incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
And the roots, oh my gosh, for a block that is so useless, they're everywhere. Ugh.
Oh, come on.
Can you compost them?
Can you? Well, yeah. I was looking at the tag, and it says you're supposed to be able to burn them in a furnace. And I was like, that's cool. You can't.
I think, is it more they work as furnace fuel rather than you can burn them in a furnace?
Well, that's what I mean. Like you're supposed to be able to use them, and at least on TB, you cannot.
Oh, okay, that's a shame.
I was like,
man, tell me your favorite thing is the mining them, right? Because there's no tool for it.
Is there not?
No, it's supposed to be the axe. It says on everything, the axe is what you're supposed to be able to use, but it doesn't feel any different at all.
Really?
No.
Oh,
so
geez.
you have to go where you have either a beacon or what I'm doing, underwater and using a conduit.
Oh, well, good news, Jessiie. I didn't mention in the beta changelog, but they've changed the underwater conduit power so that you don't get quite as much haste when you're underwater.
What?
It's only on the conduit power one. If you've got a full powered conduit, you're fine. It's just they've dropped it down a level if you've only got a...
Oh my god, that was great.
Yeah, the timing. Oh yeah, just set up this whole thing to be able to do it underwater.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Okay, so before we go on to the next one, I just want to say very quickly what I like and dislike, and I forgot to think about them while you were talking because I was actually really interested. And it's almost like we're going into the Bugdate already with all these interesting things that's coming out of there. I really like, although I haven't put any time into the survival game yet, I'm really genuinely looking forward to going to the Deep Dark and experiencing that. I don't know why. I'm not interested in any of the loot there, but I want to go raiding Deep Darks. I want to go taking them on. I want to get as much loot as possible, and I don't know why, but I'm really looking forward to it. So without even doing it, I like that. I think it's probably because I've just spent so much time there, like making the update videos and things like that, that I don't know, I have this desire to go there in survival and take it on. What I don't like...
You need to experience it now.
Yeah, I don't like like a bit like Jessiie says, that how the mangrove trees have hardly got any wood and so many leaves and so many vines. I like the look of them, but I was thinking, I don't know if it's possible, I don't think it is, but I would like a volume fog in the swamp. So we've got world fog, which if you bring the world fog in when it's raining, everything beyond it is invisible, which I don't want. I want a mist. I want a mist in the swampy biome so that it's got atmosphere, because I think those trees, particularly as the fact that the vines on them disappear and are like not too far away from the player and it looks all weird. If you had a relatively dense mist in there that didn't make it invisible, you could still see a long way in the distance, but it just had a haze. I think that would be amazing. So I guess that's not really I don't like. It's just more like I wish it doesn't just like another bright, sunny swamp, but with loads and loads of massive trees and vines. So, yeah. But I'm not complaining about it. I think it's a great addition to the game, but I just think it could be better.
No.
Right, okay. Jessiie, do you think 1.19 is a good update?
Yes. I think that it is getting a lot of what I would consider unnecessary hate. I feel like as much as we've complained about certain stuff, right? Like it's just, oh, this feels lackluster, or oh, this or oh, that. If you look at everything we've gotten with this update, I think it's silly to say, oh, this is a bad update, or oh, this is whatever complaint you have, right? It feels very much like I can't say that they did a bad job on anything. At the end of the day, I say good update.
Okay, before I go to you, Slack, Jessiie, would you say it's a big update? Do you think it's one of these like B updates that's a minor update that's just got some finishing touches in it, or do you think this counts as a big hitter? I know it's hard to say it is compared to the mountains ones we've just had, but thinking of beyond, like previous to that, updates we've had, like the aquatic update and the village and pillage and stuff like that.
So here's my thoughts, right? If they would not have announced the Deep Dark freaking 2 years ago at this point, and this was just one update that was given to us as a whole, this would be a huge, massive update. There's so much that has changed. There's so much that has been added. It absolutely is a big update. However, since everything was announced so long ago, it does not feel big. This feels like a B update. And that's just sad. But if we're being honest, that's how it feels.
Yeah, I would be tempted to agree with that. So, Slack, those two questions to you. Is it a good update in your opinion? And do you think it's a big update?
I think any update to the game that continues to add content in is a good update. So on that point, yeah, I'd say it's a good update. But is it a big update? I really agree with you. I don't think I could have nailed that any better. They hyped it too long. They hyped it way too long. It's like how the last 5-6 podcasts were like, come on, please, no more about the warden. We don't care anymore because we heard about it for so long. Maybe letting us know everything that early was kind of a downfall, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would consider it a downfall because I think they genuinely thought it was going to be more hyped when they announced it, and they thought it was going to fit in mountains, right? So I think because it changed so drastically, like if you remember when it was first announced, it was literally like a cave, like just like this little room. It was a dungeon room. And then there was just this warden. And I think they thought this was going to be the most impressive, massive thing. And instead they got flooded with, oh, it would be really cool if you did this. Oh, it would be really cool if there was a city. Oh, if it did this, that would be so much better. And so it changed so drastically. And I think that really maybe should show them how not to listen to the community 100% of the time. Like, I think it did them a disservice in this instance.
Yeah. So my thoughts on this are, I agree. I think it's a good update. I think there's nothing bad about it. There's nothing I dislike. I didn't like the fact that the allays were so rare, and they've dealt with that. I still kind of feel like there should be a way of pointing to a deep dark, but they're so more common than they were originally. Like when they first went in the game, they were more rare than like what they called the dungeons where you find the end portal. So now that they're so common, it does feel like you can stumble across those a little bit more often. I think the issue with it being a big update, because it is, if you look at all the stuff that in it, it's a big update. And don't forget all this year that they've done so much work in terms of vanilla parity, bringing the two things together, level like the world database and how that works. They've completely changed everything, made it more optimized. They've done loads of stuff with the render dragon engine, even though there's been problems and there's been teething problems doing that. And a lot of that happened in the 1.18 minor updates after 1.18 was out. it's still all gone on this year. So could you say that's part of 1.19? Probably not, but it's work that's gone on this year. I think the fact that they, like you said, they mentioned it early. I think the fact that we know they were working on it, not just when they announced it at the first Minecraft Live in 2019, because they'd obviously already been working on these things then to have them footage in there, knowing that those things didn't make it into the first two updates, kind of feels like they've not really, I know they've added loads to the Deep Dark and they've changed how the Warden works, but it doesn't feel like there's 2 or even a year's or 6 months worth of work in that. It feels like there's not been a huge amount done because we knew about it. But like you say, if they'd just told us about it last year and it came out, then great. And don't forget, this is hot off the heels. This is only 6 months after the Caves and Cliffs Part 2, which was another huge update. So yeah, I think it is, but I think there is that. It's just a shame. It's just a shame that this wasn't just like 6 months ago or a year ago. Boom, we're going to do all this stuff, because people would have been going crazy.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of, you have that one video on YouTube that does 1 out of 10 and it gets all the views. And then like 3 videos later, you have a really good one, but it's 7 out of 10 because the others before it just did so much better. And you're just like, but it's good. It's really good, but it's just not pulling the same numbers.
Yeah, exactly. It is hard to keep going on something like that. And I hope this last couple of years has been not just an opportunity for Mojang to learn, or I don't know if they need to learn, but in order to get things together, but also for them to go, we don't need to keep doing the biggest and best thing. We can just put out smaller amounts of stuff. And maybe the thing I used to like, and it doesn't feel like we've had this time, is when they go, hey, we're going to do this stuff at the next one. And then over the next few months, as we're getting closer, they'd be like, oh, yeah, we're adding this in. And we're going to add copper blocks. Hey, and what about this? And what about that? And you're like, oh, yeah. And it was exciting through the process, because I like the drip feeding of these things. You know, when they're being coy on Twitter and you know, not really telling you the answer, but kind of suggesting that it's not everything. I like that. I think the other big problem with this one was, well, right from the start with that, you know, King B-Dog's coming in as the original creator of the Aether mod and all that sort of stuff, and then doing this reinforced deep slate frame, and then just telling everybody constantly, even before the ancient cities were announced, that don't worry, guys, I know it's been delayed, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. And those were his words, you know, really, really bigging up how good it was. And then and then when we got the first previews, everyone was like, it wasn't worth it. And they did just like scramble to make it worth it. So I think there's still, for me, this big, well, why have we got a reinforced deep slate frame there? Come on. Like, we should have at least, if they weren't doing anything with it, this update, they should have at least either acknowledge they're not going to do anything with it in the future, or say, yes, we are, and let us start thinking. That to me, it's just such a big shadow looming over the whole update, which is a real shame from my perspective. I'm sure we'll know more about that at the next Minecon Live, which will lead us into the last question on this. But before we get to that, Slack, do you have any plans for the new things in the update? Have you got plans of using stuff? You say you've already dug out swamps with the mud.
Aside from just building on TV related stuff, I'm really wanting to get into the whole Humble Hills area over there, and I'm having fun building with mud and dirt and everything like that. No, and I don't mean that in a bad way, and I don't want this to sound the wrong way, but the worlds I'm already playing on are already established, and without a reset, there's not much to really, like, if I did something, I'd want to either base in an ancient city, or I'd want to base in a new swamp or something like that. And all the worlds that I'm playing on, I'm already established and everything like that. And it just feels like it would be such a hard change that it just doesn't fit at this moment in time for me.
I just want to say that when we first saw mud, you hated it.
Oh, I still hate mud. I still hate it. It looks like sewage water, but I love the challenge of something. It's like how boring is the end? It's boring right now. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I'm really, really tempted to just rip up my base and just go to the end. I don't know why. I've been fascinated here lately with end terraforming. Like, I've been doing it in creative worlds and test worlds, and it's just like, I'm really obsessed with the end right now.
Do you need end stone layers, Slack? I can make them for you.
Well, don't we already have those? Well, not layers. We have slabs, I think. But
yeah, we've got end stone brick slabs.
Jessie's like, don't.
I don't need another place to terraform. It's okay.
Okay. What about concrete layers? Because that would make sense, like concrete powder layers. Jessie,
nice knowing Foxy.
Oh boy, yeah.
Do you have any plans for new things this update?
I do now. I want to go and find a deep dark with you guys. I think that would be fun. Other than that, I'm trying to expand the way I build, and I think that these new blocks have given me a lot of inspiration. So you can definitely expect to see, stuff at Humble Hills changing for me, and for like my shopping area. I have ideas. So yeah, I'm excited.
Good. For me, I'm not too fussed about integrating the new building blocks into my current builds, because I've got a plan and I've got a style, and I don't think they're really going to add a great deal to it. The mangrove leaf, the fact that that's a variation on the leaves I've already got, might help with making my bushes a little bit more varied, but I don't think the mangrove wood itself, as much as I do really like it, I don't think that's going to add too much to what I'm doing. So I'd probably have to start something new in a new area to make anything out of that. And considering how little time I'm getting on TB at the minute, that's probably not the best thing to be thinking of doing. But I am absolutely 100% planning on just dropping everything, going and setting up a very basic base camp at a deep dark that no one else has already been to, and just going on and just, having fun trying to get all of the stuff out of there. Not just obviously the chest, but I want to loot the whole thing. I want to grab all the redstone out of the thing. I just want to steal everything. That's me. That's all I want to do. I just want to steal all the wood and stuff. Right, Jessie, what do you think is next? If you had to put money on what the next update would be, what are you honestly the thoughts of what you think it will be?
I don't know if it's just wishful thinking or, my mind speculating, but I really want that end. I want that end update. And so that's where my money is. I'm going to put all of my hopes and prayers, all my dreams, I'm putting it on an end update. That's it. I need it.
Okay, and what do you want from an end update? Just new blocks and terraforming?
I want biome variation in the nether. In the end. I want some sort of new intriguing thing to do there, like whether it be a dungeon type thing, whether it be a new boss. I don't know. I just need another reason to go there now.
The new music disc.
Shulkers. No, I don't care about me. No. I need intrigue. I need something else to bring me to the end, because I love it so much. And I know it can be pretty. Purple leaves, give me something good. I need it.
Okay. Slack, what do you think is going to be next?
I'm in the same boat as Jessie on this. I'm hoping for an end update, but I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about parody update, and we talked about it, and other people talked about it, and I just feel like that will be such a lackluster. It'll be such a letdown.
Do you think they would genuinely waste a whole 6 months to a year on a parity update?
I would hope not, but we've seen parody updates come before as kind of the main. I guess you would say the main bulk of content. Like you get something minor, but a lot of it's parody fixes. I mean, we did kind of have a parody update already, did we not?
Well, the bees update was a big jump towards that, but
maybe something minor this time with a lot of parodies, what I think will happen.
Well, parity both ways then. Otherwise, what's Java Edition going to get? Because they can't just completely exclude Java Edition and go in, oh, you're just going to get these things while we're doing all this work on Bedrock Edition.
True. They have gotten quite a few of our things before in the past that were exclusive to us. What do we got now that's exclusive? We can chop wood with a beacon and some mine.
Yeah, and we get block light through slabs.
Yeah, that is like one of the best things ever.
Yeah.
We can place blocks in front of us.
We can do the tipped arrows different, can't we?
Yeah, there's a bunch of. I think they got the our cauldron crafting a while back, didn't they? Or the dye thing, maybe. Is that a thing? I don't think they can put
we
potions
got their
in.
version of the dye thing.
Maybe we did. I don't know. But yeah, I would be amazed. I would absolutely fall off my chair if they said, "Oh yeah, we're just going to focus on parity and bug fixes for the holiday update." I don't think they would dare. I really don't. I think the execs at Microsoft will be like, "No, you need to put something out that's bringing people in. We're money, money, money."
What do you think it's going to be?
Well, I have been saying for a long time that I would love an end update, and I genuinely would. I think that dimension really does need doing. But if they don't announce something to do with that portal frame in the Deep Dark at the next Minecon, that's what I'm really hoping for. I just want to know. I want to know. I don't care if they say we're not going to do anything with it. I'll be disappointed and I'll think they've missed a trick and I'll be like, well, why? Why bother with it in the first place? Why have a block that looks like an end portal frame, works like an end portal frame, can't be broken by the wither if you don't want if it's not going to do anything? Why make a block that's stationary that you can't change in the world like Bedrock and then say you can't do anything with it? It's totally stupid. So if that's it, if they just go, oh yeah, that's it for that, we're going to do an end update, I'll be very happy we're getting an end update. But I think I don't know whether this is just wishful thinking, but I think they're going to go, hey, yeah, we're going to do Caves and Cliffs Part 4 now, which is we should have been in 1.18, which is the other side of the portal. I don't know. I'm still thinking back to all of those issues that I had on Java Edition where the end portal just disappeared for a while. Do you remember the strongholds vanished when they first started working on the Deep Dark stuff?
Yep.
So I'm kind of still thinking that the Deep Dark might be the new way to the end. So maybe we'll get our cake and eat it too. Maybe they'll go, hey, this is a new way to the end. And don't forget, getting an end update with that as well. But I can't see them taking away that iconic stuff from the Eyes of Ender, the end portals frame and things like that. I can't see them getting rid of those unless all of a sudden you're going to be using the Eyes of Ender on this huge frame. The other thing about that frame, obviously the end portal frame works because it's horizontal and you can put the items in the top. Those frame blocks that go round the reinforced deep slate have got squares on the top and bottom of the ones that are at the top and bottom, but you couldn't do anything with the side ones. So I don't think activating it's going to be in the same way, if it does anything, as obviously the end portal. So that leads me to think it's not going to be end related. But yeah, I really want an end update, but I also really want to know. Want to know what that's for. Because if it was finished, if they were like, that's it, done, they would say something, wouldn't they? Someone would have been on a podcast or they'd have been on Twitter. Oh yeah, we got you, lol. Or we maybe had these plans, but they're on the ideas pile now. But they've not said anything. Just leads me to believe that there's something still to think about. Because you know how they react to people talking and all of that. Like we've talked about the Warden, how they've reacted to people doing that. If the amount of noise people have made about that and they've not reacted at all, it's got to be something.
Well, it's like yesterday I was watching Corner Hard stream. And I've gotten where I've been watching him here lately. And for the people out there that don't know, Corner Hard is a developer for Mojang and works on Realms mostly. And if he says it on a stream, I'm going to say that I can use it and say anything about it that I want to. He said that some features that got canceled, like fireflies and the birch and everything like that, just because they get removed doesn't mean they're canceled. They just get taken back. He said, you may see them again in the future. You may not. He said they just get taken from active development and put into the ideas file. If that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah, it does. It just means that's like, we're not making a promise about this, but hopefully we'll squeeze it in at some point. And that's exactly where the Warden went. They said that to us. They were like, this is no longer in active development. This is going on the back burner because we've got other things to deal with. And they said this is when 1.17 was due to come out. It will not be in 1.17. It will not be in 1.18, but it might be out after that. And everyone was like, it'd definitely be in 1.19 then. But they were very, very specific at saying that they weren't going to say if it was or it wasn't. So, yeah, maybe that's where these features went. But they told us about the Warden. They haven't said anything about this. So that's just my 2 cents, which unless you guys have got anything else you want to discuss about the wild update, we're moving on to the Bugdate.
No, sounds good.
Okay. In the Bugdate, then, we've got one thing from me. Looks like there's a thing from Slack. Jessie's not written anything in, but she did talk about axes and mangrove roots. And we do have one piece of feedback or a Bugdate post from Plod as well. So do you want to start with your one, Slack?
Yeah, mine's... I've been on a goat kick for a couple of months now, dealing with goat farms and barter farms and everything. And my bug deals with the short and skinny of it. Piglins do not always see goat drop for them if they are not at eye level with it. Like, if you got the piglin standing in a hopper, he has a chance of not seeing it because he's 1 pixel too low. If you got him standing on carpet, he might not see it because he's 1 pixel too high. And if you're trying to automate out a farm, it's a nightmare. It's a complete nightmare because he'll miss half the goat thrown at him.
What about if he's on a slab?
Nope, he's too tall then. He won't see it at all.
What, even if the item's on a slab as well?
He won't see it.
Oh, really? Great.
And if he's on the slab and like the dispenser is at where his eye level should be, like it comes out at his waist, he won't see it. If you put it above him, he won't see it. If you put it at his feet, he won't see it. It's annoying.
Well,
that's frustrating.
That said, it would affect the bug report that you've linked said it affected the 1.17.11 hotfix. It's gone from unresolved to reopened, so I guess it's another one of those bugs that's just bounced back. But no one's written in there that affects this version. So, you might want to put some info on that if it's affecting this version.
I will adamantly complain. I was digging it up. That's what I was doing the other day, and that's the only thing that I could find in relation to it. And it's the thing that makes the most sense because it's very illogical. And when I saw it was reopened, I didn't even bother to check it any further. I was like, oh, okay, they already know. Yeah,
it doesn't look like they'll be paying attention if it's not got the current version on it. So I would definitely, I'd go onto that and just update that. Okay, Jessie, have you got any bugs other than not being able to chop roots?
No, I haven't noticed anything glaring at me since the update so far, besides obviously the roots and the axe.
Well, that's good. I've come across today a horrendous bug that's not going to affect most players, but it's going to affect anybody that does creative work or anybody in the marketplace that makes maps for the marketplace. And that is that in 1.19 and onwards, the fill command no longer works. Well, it kind of does and it kind of doesn't. And I don't know the reasoning for this. And I've looked for bug reports and bug reports exist, but this is one of those where the bug report was created and then whoever is the bug moderator at the Jira has gone, oh no, that's something else, and linked it to something completely irrelevant that's the wrong bug. And I found this today trying to I was making an add-on for somebody, and I was trying to just make a 20 by 20 stone flat, just one layer thin stone platform, so I could test if mobs were spawning at night. And 20 by 20 is not very far away from the player. And every time I ran the fill command, it said, you can't place blocks outside of this world. And I was like, well, why can't, what? And I checked my thing a million times, and I wasn't using relative coordinates. I was using like exact coordinates. I knew exactly where I wanted to be. I was stood in the middle of where I wanted to be. And then it occurred to me that Cornerhard recently announced to us that they changed how the world saves chunks now. This was a brand new flat world I was in, and I hadn't moved around much. And in order for the game to actually save chunks in your world now, the player has to have actually been to those chunks. Now, it used to be that the player, depending on what your simulation distance was, the chunks around you that were simulated would then be saved to the database, which meant if you wanted to preload a world, for instance, like if you're making a marketplace map and you want to preload an area of a world so you can clone it to a different world, or you just want to preload it ready for the map, all you had to do is put your simulation distance up to 12 and either run a script or just fly around a bit, and all of the chunks would load in, and that's it. They'd never have to load in again. But they changed it so it only does it on the chunks that players have been to, in order to try and make updating your world in future a little bit better, and in order to try and save the database file sizes, which is great. And I believe this is the problem, because obviously I'd only been to a couple of chunks, and because there's no chunk information on Bedrock Edition, I didn't know which ones I'd been in. I couldn't see any chunk lines. I didn't have my markers pack on this world. So I was just flying around aimlessly, hoping that I was covering the area that I wanted to place. And bear in mind, I'm in a flat world, so everything's grass. So I've got no like markers. I got no way of knowing if I'm at the right place or not. I TP to all the edges of this coordinate, and eventually I ran that command, and it allowed me to fill that area. But then I needed to fill another area in a different set of coordinates, and this one was further away. And it was like, no, you can't do it. They can't place blocks outside of the world, and that's a big problem. So yeah. I went to the bug report, and it said, and there's a bug report that explains it perfectly, but yet again, as usual, it's one of those ones that links to something that's completely unrelated, and the other unrelated one is an old post that says, oh yeah, certain commands don't work because of whatever simulation distance you've got. And this has got nothing to do with simulation distance. I changed the simulation distance, tried everything, it just wouldn't work. So I'm hoping, I made a note on that bug report to say, hey, this is nothing to do with that. Can you actually put this down as its own unique one? But the Jira's a nightmare when it comes to things like that. So I don't think it's going to get noticed. Although I have mentioned it to the back channels of the marketplace stuff. So hopefully the other people in there will pick it up and shout loud about it, because that's going to be a problem. Any thoughts on that, guys? That's broken. That you can't even make a proper perimeter for testing via commands or anything like that. No, that's horrible.
Yeah, that would be something that you would think would be a big enough issue that they would try to pay attention to it, because the marketplace makes them money. So hopefully it gets picked up soon.
I'm just surprised no one else has noticed it. I spoke to a couple of people today. Groover actually responded and said, yeah, he's having exactly the same problem. Spoke to a couple of marketplace people. They're saying they've had exactly the same problem. So, yeah, I guess not that many people have been running fill commands and shouting about it in Bedrock, or maybe not in brand new worlds. Maybe they're doing it in existing worlds that have already got the chunks loaded in. So, yeah. Right, well, that's it from me. Plod says, characters created using the character creator are being deleted, seemingly at random. It seems in particular there was an update to the character creator user interface earlier this week that deletes loads of people's characters, including mine. This is really annoying, as you have to create your character from scratch. You can't save your character offline and import it like you can with traditional skin. I recreated my character yesterday, only to find it had disappeared again today, and I had to do it all over again. I've just started making content, and my character, complete with spiky hair, which you can't replicate with a traditional skin, is part of my brand, so I need to know my data is stored safely. And they do link a bug report, which is absolutely fantastic, so thank you very much for that, Plod. And I have to agree, all of my custom characters have been deleted as well, but that happened a while ago. Either of you guys noticed this?
Oh, like every update randomly.
Yeah. Yeah, Ethan noticed his was gone and was quite upset. And so then I looked at mine, and mine were all gone. And I was like, whoop, yep, that's a thing.
Yeah, it's just not like you even got any reference to them. So you can go, oh, well, I can't remember what trousers they had, or I can't remember what face they had. It's like Oliver was spent ages making one the other day, looking in the mirror going, Dad, what eyebrows have I got? What colour's my hair? And all this sort of stuff. He spent ages. So when he comes to me this weekend and goes on his iPad and finds it's gone, he's going to be devastated. That's horrendous. That's really bad. How can they allow that to happen?
No, that's a bad thought, Slack. Just keep that out of your mind. Part of my brain went, well, it's just a ploy to get the kids to redo the thing, so they have to get their parents to spend more money because they want these pants now instead of those. That was a horrible thought that my brain just said.
I don't think it's that. I think there's a genuine mistake been made somewhere, but that's the sort of thing that should be backed up, right? That's the sort of thing that they should go, we've realized a mistake here. Let's press the backup button and get everyone's stuff back.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we had the ender chest bug and everyone's ender chest inventory vanished? And they literally made it so that a present arrived in your world. You got a box, the chest appeared in your world with all the stuff that was lost out of your inventory. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
A few weeks later. And so that was nice. But all of that information, it was because it still was stored in your world, right? Whereas all of this is clearly on Minecraft servers somewhere. And it's just like, it's gone. Sorry, mate. Not good. Jeez. Right, okay, that's it from the Bugdate, which is absolutely fantastic. And, we've got the wish list, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
I completely forgot about the wish list. So, Jessie, you better start us off with roaming pets.
Yeah. What I decided to do was I was going to go to the end, right? I went to like the last page and picked one from the last page that I liked. And roaming pets, that it got my attention. I think it would be more atmospheric. Like it would just add a nice little background if your pets could like wander within like a set parameter around your base or something along those lines. I just think it would be kind of cool.
So like when your cat goes and gets you something at night rather than just appearing with something, a present for you the next morning, you could actually go like see it on the fence wandering about, but it's it's not going to get lost.
I think it would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I kind of like that idea. Just to read the actual post out, it says, so this is just a small feature, but it'd be really cool if you guys did add it. So pets can only sit and follow you, but I wish there was another mode so where they will roam around 5x5 blocks from where the player were they? Oh my goodness, I wish I'd started reading this. It's the worst writing in the world. Gee, you get the idea, peeps. It's got 824 votes, not very many. If you want this to come to Minecraft, better get on the website and get voting for this one. Jeez. I like that idea. What do you think, Slack?
Yeah, I like it. Like if you could take your pet and not have him sit and say, walk around with not a stick, that'd be a horrible one, but like a certain food and right click here, right click there, and then your dog could wander that path. Just, I love it. I think it's great.
I don't know if it's doable with add-ons, but it's certainly doable from Minecraft's perspective because all of that information already exists. They use it for villagers. So villagers have got, in fact, not just villagers, but other ones as well, such as the wandering traders. Actually, now that the wandering trader will actually wander about, which is really annoying because when you're in his inventory, he wanders off and it closes the screen. But it's got what's called a home point. So the point that he spawns in becomes its home point, and it will only wander within certain blocks of that. So as long as there was a way, so maybe when you sat a dog down or you sat a cat down, that became their home point, and then there you could stand them up again, and they would only wander from that, I guess, which would be good. But then how do you make them start following you around again if they're wandering? I suppose that would be a bit tricky. But yeah, I like that idea. It's a good one. Slack, what's yours?
Mine's a simple ode feature. Disable autosave and allow us to either have it as a toggleable, Jesus Christ, that word, feature where autosave, say, saves every 5 minutes or whatever, or the ability just turned off where you can exit a world without saving.
Yeah, that was always on the console versions of Minecraft. It was absolutely fantastic for making minigame maps. It was great for, having your friends in and just going crazy and then knowing everything was going to be safe. Yeah. Why doesn't that exist?
I don't know. Really, this is Bedrock Edition and it's been here for a long time. Why do we not have the option to say exit without saving?
I think that probably the issue there is obviously all the changes that you make in that world would have to be logged and stored somewhere. And that's obviously either going to be in your memory or it's going to be building a second database for your world, which would, if you've got a world that's 1.2 or 2 or 3 gigabytes, then that's a whole nother world file. It's got to copy and paste before you could get into that world. And then obviously, or if it's storing it all in memory and you did want to save it for whatever reason and something happened, it's, you've lost all of those changes. So I guess it's probably a simplicity thing and just a performance thing that's stopping them. But I would love that ability. Yes, please.
Yeah, you want to exit without saving right now. Crash your game?
Yeah.
And then that's a hope that it didn't save?
Yeah, Oliver got a Bed Wars map from the marketplace, and every time you want to play it again, you've got to, it's a world template, so it's not difficult, but you've got to create a new world for it. It'd be great if you could just go back to the hub and go, start again. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. Yeah. Jessie, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that would be a good addition. I didn't know that was a thing at any point, so that's pretty cool. Yeah,
it was great. And that one's only got 2,202 votes. So again, and that was actually posted in 2018. So if that's something you guys are interested in, then the links to these will be in the description below. Get on there and get them voted for, because these are great ideas. My one is very similar to Slack's, actually. And mine is just to be able to actually pause the game. So, I was complaining the other day about having the marketplace button on the pause screen, and you go into the marketplace and you get blown up by a creeper.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be nice if when you actually paused the game, obviously this isn't going to work on servers and things like that, but in a single player world, if it just stopped. You know,
You mean like the hardcore worlds on Java where people hit escape and everything freezes?
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
Java, that's happened in Java naturally forever. That's always just paused in single player.
Yep.
So I understand it's believe it or not, a massive technical thing to do, because it's not like a video that's just playing and you can pause it. Everything in the game has got its own like clock system and works on it. So you've got obviously random ticks, you've got ticking, you've got animations for everything like that. You would have to put functionality into every single thing in the game to be able to stop those things from processing. And if it's got a complicated entity like the player, or like a I don't know, a wither boss or something that's got a lot of animations, a lot of things going through, stopping that, or anything with momentum as well, because momentum's a big thing in Bedrock Edition. That has to get stored and saved. Anything like that's going to have to be just snapshotted immediately on demand and then put back in again. Yeah, it's a really tricky thing to do with the way how it works at the moment. So I can understand why it's not in the game, but why not? Fix it. Do it. Again, that's only got 2,563 votes. So get it voted for, peeps, if you think it's a good idea. I mean, how many times have you gone to the door while you're recording or you're doing something and you come back and you're like, oh, I didn't even log out of the game?
Oh, yeah, many times.
In Don't Die Season 1, the very first one, it was the first night, and Evie was a baby at that point, and it sounded like she was choking, and I turned around, hit escape, could have sworn I hit exit, turned around, got Evie, turned back, and I was dead.
Oof.
And I was like, what happened? I had no idea. And luckily everyone was like, it was in the first 24 hours, you get a do-over. And I was like, ah. But yeah, I was gutted. I was so mad at myself because I was like, I swear I thought I pushed it. Oh, it was bad. So yeah, I would love a pause. That would be great.
Yes, please. Pause, please. And on servers as well. I don't care if everyone else has to stop what they're doing when I need the toilet, okay?
I think that's where I would appreciate it the most, because I got in a bad habit after the Mushroom Island, just walking away.
I still do it now. I'll be stood in the middle of my base and I like, oh, Oliver will want something, or there'll be a knock at the door, or Nelly will be making a fuss, and I will just wander off. And I'll come back and I'll go, what? I've needed what?
What happened to all my stuff?
Yeah. Jeez. Right. Okay. That is the end of the wish list section of today's podcast, which of course takes us into the questions. And if you want to ask us a question, send an email to news@theminecraftupdate.com, or drop a question on the feedback form, which is linked in the description below. And as usual, assuming Jessie's not, dying of some sort of horrendous coughing disease this week, let's have a dance break, because I'm sweating and I need more drink.
Fair.
Back in a moment. Yeah, don't just do it because I need a wee, you know.
Ba, ba, ba. Today's dance break is brought to you by the Update podcast crew. Hi, unofficial. Sorry, unofficial. Wow, somebody's phone is going off. I don't know what to sing about today, because it's really hot and Foxy won't let me have my air conditioning on because it makes the thing really loud. So yeah. Oh, today I'm silly.
Oh. How was the dance break? Was it good?
Kind of. I called you out because I am sweating like all get out, and I'm miserable.
I'm not grabbing my air conditioner remote right now.
It's slightly warm in the UK today. Slightly. Yeah, so,
right now it is 95 degrees outside, and I have a little tiny desk fan cooling me off. So,
Hey,
my poor
it's in the 60s over there today,
rain or
you
shine.
poor soul.
Rain or shine, you wanted to be part of this podcast. Don't start moaning at me about the temperature. You should have thought about that, Jessiie B.
Suddenly, Jessiie B is missing from all summer podcasts.
Okay, into the questions. Alex says, do you think they... do you guys think... Pardon?
Yeah.
Do you guys... Do you guys think that there should be more ambient mobs in the game? Oh, no, what Slack's going to think to this one. Because at the moment, it's really just bats, and those are more annoying than anything else. You've kind of answered your own question there, Alex.
I don't have a bell, but I got my keys. Hold on. I'm jingling them. Does it count? No. 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 No, 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 no.
I think Slack thinks it's a reasonable idea. What do you think, Jessie?
I think if there were things like particle effects, like everyone keeps talking about the fireflies, right? But if those were particle effects and added ambience, totally okay. But an actual mob, heck to the no. I don't need anything else adding more lag into the game. I'm good.
You know how in some games there'll be like birds in the distance, but when you get close, they just fly off. You never see them. You can't do anything with them. I quite like that. That would be good. You know, if you just like birds in the trees making bird noises, but when you get close, they just fly away.
No, because then somebody would mess up the coding and the bird would swoop down and pick up your shulker box and fly away with it. You know? No.
Oh, speaking of which, I forgot to mention, I don't know, maybe this was because I was in creative mode when I was making the video, but when you do the alley duplication, it duplicates the item it's holding as well, which is obviously an amethyst shard, but you get an extra amethyst shard. I don't know. I've not tried giving them a different item first, like a shulker box, and then clicking on them with an amethyst shard and seeing if they'll duplicate that or a golden apple or something, but I think they will, which is interesting. So, yeah.
Foxy telling everybody how to duplicate here in the future.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Just get your shulker box of diamond blocks. Jessie, just pay attention to this. Get your shulker box of diamond blocks. Mm-hmm. And right as they go to dance, swap out the amethyst for that. Just
Noted.
Yeah,
taking
that's
those
it.
Notes.
That's it. And click on your furnace in the hotbar for 20 minutes while spinning around in a circle. So we're going to say, Alex, unfortunately, it's a no to more ambient mobs. See, I wouldn't mind if, as long as they didn't interfere with you. I don't like bats because they actually are programmed to be annoying and fly in your face, which is just like other mobs are programmed if you break a fence to escape. That's just how they're programmed. If they're going to add other ambient mobs like birds that are just in the distance that fly away, great, but I don't want them interfering with me.
Stay over there from a distance.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, there's a bird there. I'm ready to go. It's just feathers now.
Oh, my goodness.
What are you doing?
Right, Jessie, what's Benji got to say?
Benji says, "Hey, Foxy, Jessie, and Slack. Listening to the podcast last week, I had an idea for the season's update, specifically the winter season. What if instead of manually shoveling, the snow is melted? So whatever snow layer level it would be that water level. The water would still function the same way, spreading and flowing in an area. To pitch up all the water, your bucket could have levels. So the bucket would get fuller as you pick it up until you have a water block in it. If you didn't want to pick it up, you could just wait for it to evaporate. So eventually it would just disappear. I know there are a lot of kinks to work out in this idea, but I think you can do it, Benji." I just had an actual panic attack reading that. The idea that, somebody's snow layers could just wash away like any flowers, any, foliage. And then what if I wanted to do custom rivers and my water just evaporates? I am a full no.
Oh, Benji, I don't want to sound mean, but that's probably the worst idea anyone's had in the history of bad ideas, my friend. No, we don't want snow turning into water. We don't want water washing away things, and we don't want the water evaporating from all of the stuff where it's intended to be. And also changing how buckets work so they can have more than the bucket. No, all round and no for that.
Can we file that up there with more ambient mobs?
Yeah. I think that the fact that I'm slightly concerned here, Benji, that you've said, I think you can do it. You know this is the unofficial Minecraft podcast, right? Minecraft Bugdate podcast. We're not Mojang. We have no say on any of these ideas or how they get into the game. Certainly not an add-on that I don't know if I could make that, but I don't want to because I don't like the idea. So I'm not going to. Slack.
Cuber Maker here. Oh, you give me a book for a change. I'm not used to this. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't put them in order that gave you the small ones today.
I know, right? The redneck struggles over here. It's okay though.
Do you want me to swap?
Jesse.
I'll give you a small one. Yeah, look, there's Aiden Shin here. You can have him instead. He comes a bit later on. There you go.
Okay.
Have that one.
Okay, Aiden Shin. I don't even see that one. What?
I've just put it below Benji.
Yeah, he's just moved it.
Okay. See, this is so much nicer. This is more my style. It's just a thank you one, right? Right.
You're welcome.
Hi, Foxy, Slack, and Jesse. Aiden Shin here. My question this time is, what do you think about the 19.1 update? What do you think are the advantages and disadvantages?
And then he puts at the end, I'm 10 years old.
I didn't know if I should say that or not. That's why I wasn't sure.
No, I know. And I don't know. Jeez. Yeah, we've just been through that, Aidan, actually. So if you would like an answer to your question, just rewind the podcast by about 20 minutes. And we got all of our thoughts on the 19.1 update. There you go. Jesse, you got anything else to add to that?
No, just what we went over, really. I think it's fun. So I'm excited for certain aspects, yeah.
Okay, good. Excellent. Cuba Maker says, sup all. Weird how Jesse had a rhyme I mine all the time. After reading my last piece of feedback, suspicious. Even if you don't catch on, I will do anything in my power to keep this joke going. Please don't. It's funny to hear Jesse squeal like a dolphin and deny the truth. I think this is he's trying to keep the joke going of you being a Jupies stealer. What I was saying last podcast in the Bugdate was that I could keep on eating even though my hunger bar was full, and that didn't seem to change my saturation. Great podcast again. When you're hearing this, you'll probably already have played 1.19. What's your favourite blocks, item, tool, mob, food, or biome from every update? 1.15 to 1.19. Oh my goodness, you expect us to remember? Questions? Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the hunger thing, that was an issue. I remember we had that in was it season 1 or season 2 where you would just keep eating and it didn't do anything? Season 2, was it?
I think.
Just sounds like that one's back again. But yeah,
nice.
Okay. Slag, what's your favourite block, item, tool, mob, or food or biome from every update from 1.15? Bear in mind 1.15 wasn't an update, so you get a free pass on there. 1.16 to 1.19. 1.16 being the nether one, 1.17 being mountains, 1.18 being mountains again, 1.19 being mountains again. The wild update.
No.
You don't want to answer it?
I'll let Jesse go first.
Okay. So 1, I don't squeal like a dolphin. I am offended. 2,
we got proof.
I am not a duper. Also offended. 3, my favorite block for the Nether update was the warped wood. Love it in all forms. My favorite thing in the mountain update is actually the variation of flower biomes now, like the fact that it looks more like ambient in that way. Love it. Number 2 for caves and cliffs, was that number 2 that the flower thing was added? It might have been.
Yes.
Okay, so that's number 2. Number 1, I totally forget what the first part of the update had.
Copper.
Okay, I guess the aged copper.
About it.
And this update so far, I really like the wood, the color of the wood specifically. So there you go.
Okay. In the Nether update, I just ancient debris, I guess, netherite. I really like that addition to the game. The mountains. The first one, I can't even remember what was in it apart from copper. I loved copper. Deep slate, my favorite, definitely my favorite block.
Yeah.
Cobbled deep slate.
Deep slate is amazing.
Then I would say in this not the latest one, 1.8. What did we get in 1.18? We got mountains, obviously, but what did we get any new blocks? Powdered snow? Does that?
The lush stuff. The lush stuff was added.
Oh
in the
yeah.
second half. We just had it early.
Yeah. Okay. Geez. I don't really have a
moss.
Yeah, moss. Okay, moss from that one, and then in this latest one, I think I'm going to get into skulk stuff at some point. I really like the look of that stuff, but I'm not 100% sure yet. Slack.
Moss, deep slate, the Crimson for the Nether update, because it suddenly you didn't have just Netherrack everywhere. I know you had the blue one as well, but I can't remember what it's called. But the Crimson, I love it in the Nether. The red biomes, it's beautiful. Moss, Deep Slate. This update, it's mud bricks so far, even though they're a pain to get, which means I'm going to have to build a villager,
A wheat
farm. Yeah, for wheat, because setting at a nano farm just takes forever. Something feels slower about the nano farms right now.
Hey, guess what? I just realized we're in the general channel on the Discord. Someone's just written in the Discord. Sorry, guys, just been in the VC with you.
Oops.
We should probably move.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm moving.
That's great.
Oops. Jessiie, quick move.
Wow.
I'm surprised no one else bothered to come in. Amazing.
That's great.
Oh, we've done a live podcast.
Nobody was there. Nobody was there. Y'all missed your
It
chance
was
for a live
general as well. I was
podcast.
just like, how's he come in? I clicked on this channel's open to everyone, and then I realized we're in the general one. Amazing. Sorry, Slack, we cut you off from talking about your favorite blocks there.
Oh my goodness.
I don't even know that just made it right there. Oh, this update's mud bricks so far. Yeah. So moss, crimson, mud bricks, and deep slate.
Okay, good. Right, Jessiie, what's Pamela got to say?
Pamela says, Foxy, 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 how's your day?
It's good.
I know you get so many questions about starting a YouTube channel, but I keep thinking that I want to start a YouTube channel testing creators' Bedrock farms. Do you need permission to do that? There are so many creators and I want to test in creative, so I always do it in pure survival. Oh, I never test it in creative, so I want to do it in pure survival. And it's so frustrating to take hours and hours to find out, does it work? Your true fan, Pamela Gage. Keep up the good work. I'm always waiting for your content. Simply love your style, your humor, and your fun farms. I agree so much that most players don't need max efficiency farms.
Well, I think this one was quite clearly pointed at me. Sorry to exclude you both in this one, but yeah, this is my true fan, Pamela Gage. Just saying. Yeah, I'm glad you agree with me on the max efficiency farms there. In terms of starting a YouTube channel to go over other people's farms, I don't think there's any issue at all. If someone's put a tutorial out on a farm, why you couldn't build that in survival, make your own content on it, as long as you're not claiming it's your own and talk about it, that's absolutely fine, because effectively you're just reviewing that farm. I don't think you need to ask for permission. If you wanted to, fine. If you wanted to credit the person, obviously put the links to their stuff in the description, that's great. But yeah, if you want to do that, I don't think you, as long as you say whose farm it was that you're doing, then I think you're good on that. What do you think, guys?
Absolutely. I think that that's something that would probably help quite a few people as well. Like it's something that would probably have an audience is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree.
It would have an audience. It's staying not, what's the word I'm looking for? Not being biased in that. Oh, I thought about doing that exact kind of series before in the past, even before TB. But what happens if you suddenly take some big person and you redo their farm and then you bash it, okay? And then you do somebody else's. You could catch. It could go good. It could go good. It'd be no different than, I guess, a Reacts video. You know what I mean?
You'd have to be careful, wouldn't you? If you built it in survival and it genuinely doesn't work, then I think it's fair to say I built this and it doesn't work, because there's so many farms out there, probably some of yours and mine still on YouTube, that people find that we built ages ago and they don't work anymore. And I think that's fine to call out. If you've built it wrong, if you've missed something or got a repeater in the wrong place, or something like that, and you're going on and slating it and saying this is rubbish and it doesn't work and pointing fingers at the person that made it saying it's no good, then that's obviously bad. So you would have to be absolutely 100% sure that everything was exactly as it was intended to be before making any complaints about it. And that's not easy to do on particularly big farms because they can have all sorts of stuff in all sorts of other places. And if you're not 100% understanding on why it should all be where it should be, it's very easy to just copy and paste and make mistakes. I've done it many times myself. So yeah, just
well,
if you're going to
spawning here because it's over in the wrong biome by 10 blocks, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Have you built it over an ocean? Have you done this? Have you done that? There's loads of things that go into it. So yeah, just if you're going to do that, I would do it in a very positive way and try not to call out anyone for doing anything wrong unless you're absolutely 100% sure that there's something wrong. And maybe before you put that video out, you could contact that creator and go, hey, I've tried to build your world in survival for a video. I'm having problems with it. Is it broken or am I doing something wrong? And find out from them. And then at least you're going to get some potentially get some feedback unless they ignore you.
I think it's a great idea. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be aware. I guess be aware. Be aware. You call out the wrong person, they're going to take offense. But I think it's great. I 100% say do it. If you want to do it and you believe you can do it, go for it. Who's to stop you?
Yeah, exactly. Do it. Slack, what's Victim got to say?
Victim, do Minecraft creators purposely act like they don't understand something? Or forget a simple recipe in order to make their audience feel smarter? Or do they actually get so used to doing things a certain way that they forget how to make glass?
Can I jump in on this one first?
Go, yeah.
I genuinely forget stuff all the time that I've known for years, and you just, when you were in the mode of I'm making this video, what's my next clip, what's the last thing I've done, how am I going to edit it, what am I going to do here, how do I make this clip with that, and all of those things are flying through your mind, and then you go, what do I need to make glass? Oh yes, sand. I can't craft. Oh, it needs a furnace. I've done that millions of times with so many different things. It's genuine. I've never ever try to pull the wool over under anyone's eyes that I don't remember how to do it. But I know other people, I think we've even probably talked about it in the past, going, oh, Mumbo Jumbo, he's always making mistakes. He's got to be doing that for the viewers. He's got to be doing that for the comments. I don't think so. I think it's just dead easy to just go,
Yeah. I think when you're trying to be on all the time, especially when you're either live streaming or making content, it's really easy to just completely brain fog, right? Like we've all done it. It's just a natural part of life in general, not even in Minecraft. Like I know every single one of you has gone to the fridge specifically to get something and then stand there for 5 minutes going, what was I here for? It's the same thing. It's just a natural thing that we all do. And when you're focusing on, trying to make a video, trying to do things, it is so easy to be like, I was so focused, I've completely forgot how to Minecraft. So yeah, I think sure some people do, but I think the vast majority of it is genuine.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Like yesterday, I had to build a nano farm, and I've got a tutorial on it, and I recorded my clips leading up to it, and I got there, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, how do I make this? What do I do? And it's like, it's so simple. It's so simple, and my brain's just like, I'm just dumb. I'm like, okay, I need this, I need this, and I need this. I'm just sitting there talking to myself. I'm like, I don't remember how to do this. Doesn't even matter that I have a tutorial, and I actually made the joke. This is the reason I make tutorials, is because I forget these things.
To remind yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so easy.
Do I think some people fake it? Yeah, I think some people do. Yeah, just to get that engagement. Oh, come on, you told this big content creator something that they didn't know or that they forgot. I think some people do, but I don't think. I think it's a genuine. You have people who forget, and then you have people who just interweave it.
I've gone like 3/4 of a way through a video with a plan to do something, only to realize that won't work because I've completely forgotten how to.
Yeah.
Oh, that exists, doesn't it? Or that won't work because of that. Farms I've built. Well, which farm did I build above an ocean and then wouldn't, was it passive mobs wouldn't spawn in it? And I'm like,
yeah,
what?
passive mob farm above the ocean. Yeah,
and I know this stuff, but I spent like 8 hours building this passive mob farm only to then have a face palm right at the end going, oh yeah, I wouldn't do that by accident. Why spend that? Would have wasted time. Jeez. So yeah. Oh jeez, that makes me laugh. So sorry, Victim. We're not trying to pull your leg. We are just stupid.
Basically.
You know we are, because we've just spent their 2 hours of podcast recording it in the general voice chat of the Discord instead of the host's area private chat, because we're smart. Do you know what, though, guys? Do you know what? That makes me really happy we've done that, because I've been saying, I'm going to say it on the podcast now, and then we have to do it, that I want to do a live one. We've even got a live one, like a channel to do it. I want to say to guys, next week or whichever week we're going to do it, we're going to do this whole thing live. And what we've just done today, there's no reason that couldn't have been live. We didn't even know people might have been listening. We've no idea. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm putting it onto you both. We get the permissions
set up right. Yeah, we set the permissions right. I think only so many people could join, so y'all better be quick to be there.
I think the stages one, I think that's what it's set up as. I don't think it matters how many people join, does it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've never done a stage, but we should do it. We should definitely do it. We've just done 2 hours with the podcast live without knowing that about it. How hard could it be?
Who knows? You might be live. You might have been live on your second channel.
Instead of the dance break, I'll just take questions direct.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Right, just take requests for songs.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, Q&A from the audience section.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to, because obviously if we're going to do a live one with people there, it's not going to be, and I think this is the reservation that Slack and Jessiie have had previously, is that, and myself, like, you're just going to be focused on what people are saying all the time and responding to it. In my mind, the way it would work is it would be exactly like today's one. We are just focused on each other and reading through the docs and doing what we're doing. But when we get to the feedback section and when we get to the question section, we would be reading from the chat as well and picking stuff out from that. So it wouldn't be like a live stream where we're just responding to the chat all the time. That's not what it is. It is just you listening to us recording a podcast with the added benefit of when we get to those sections being able to chip in. And yeah, maybe the podcast would go on for a bit. Maybe there's bits that get cut out of the actual recording of it later on that didn't make it in because we made mistakes because we're live and we're a bit nervous or things happened. But I think it'd be great. I think we should do it.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I'm all in.
Good. Excellent.
All in.
Being all in. The last question, speaking of all in, is what I meant. We're all in the end of the questions with Hakuzo Sinoa saying, what do the trio think of a machine or device that smashes stones to gravel and gravel to sand? Interesting. What do you think, Slack?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, stone to gravel. Look, gravel is the sand is the non-renewable, so I'm fine with it. Because I can get gravel through a barter farm, and if I can run that gravel through something to make into sand and have renewable sand, I'm sold. Yep.
I think for modded, it's wonderful. I think for vanilla, not so much. I'm not one of those people who likes the idea of having any kind of machinery in Minecraft. Like, I know we have furnaces and all different types of furnaces.
Stone cutters.
It just feels a little different. If I just had to put something in a thing and then it turns something into something else for me, like, it feels too modded for me. So personally, I would not be about it. Stone cutter just changes how it looks. It doesn't change what it is.
Barter farm, I throw gold, he gives me blocks.
Yeah, but still, it's that's like an exchange. That's just like, that would be the same argument for villagers.
What about when you break stone without silk touch and it gives you cobblestone?
Ooh.
That's fine because you have to work for it. Like, that's manual labor. If I go and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get cobblestone, and then I just have to sit there and then it goes through 2 different stages, like, that doesn't feel like an equal amount of time. Sure, it would make my life as a content creator easier, but it just doesn't feel equal. I guess that's what I'm like. It doesn't feel like the reward justifies the effort putting in. And I don't like that so much. Okay,
so what if instead of that then you have, sticking with your fortune, not fortune, you just normal pickaxe and your silk touch pickaxes, just for the sake of keeping things simple. If you use a normal pickaxe on stone, it gives you cobblestone. If you use that normal pickaxe on cobblestone, it gives you gravel. And if you use the normal shovel on gravel, it turns to sand. But if you want the gravel back or the cobblestone, you have to use Silk Touch.
See, that I'd be totally okay with. That feels proportionate to me.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like the idea that we can get renewable sand. I think that, particularly on big multiplayer servers, I know they gave it to the Wandering Trader, but come on. That's not a solution. You might as well have given it to the LAs that are hiding at the other end of the planet. You know, I think a way of making actual renewable sand is a good idea. I like that. I wouldn't personally mind. I wouldn't call it a machine. I don't think Minecraft should have machines, but I wouldn't mind a block that transfers or converts it from one to another. Maybe you could call, I don't know, cobblestone and sand together and make gravel, and maybe there's a recipe that you can put something with and make sand or something, so you're combining rather than just converting. And I think that would sit better with me, because we can make like coarse dirt, right?
Yeah, what's that thing in Java called? What is it in the modded? The seed? What is it where you run
the sieve? Sieve, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking machine, like a bulldozer or something. I was just thinking something like that.
Yeah, with the saves, you got to keep clicking. Well, it depends on the mod, but some of them you got to keep clicking on them. So again, wouldn't be horrendous, but I still think that's a little bit on the modded side of things. But I think some way of doing that, absolutely, I'd be up for that. So yeah, thank you, Hakuzo, for a very, very good question. But unfortunately, it is the last question, which means I'm going to ask you again to leave us more questions at news@theminecraftupdate.com email address, or through the feedback form, which is linked in the description below. And unfortunately, peeps, just over 2 hours of doing a live podcast accidentally for the first time to an audience of none, it's time to end. So before we do that, Jessie, what are you going to be up to this week?
This week we have live stream weekend, so I will be with you guys hanging out, getting some stuff in the new update done. And then next week I will have one video, and I will have 2 streams, hopefully, because school is out and I have time.
Nice. What about you, Slack?
Still keeping with the YouTube consistency, videos every Friday. Any extra videos will be on Tuesdays. And streaming will be returning to its normal 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on every day except for Wednesday and Thursday each week.
Nice. My schedule is currently all over the place. This weekend there will be a couple of very short add-on showcase tutorials for the add-ons I mentioned earlier. Next week on Monday morning, UK time, I'm going to be doing my say goodbye to the medieval server stream and having a look at how everybody did, and that I'm really looking forward to that. I haven't been on the world at all. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they got on. They basically had a month to build a medieval town in complete survival, no add-ons, and I can't wait to do that. And then that's that one closing. And then hopefully on the Tuesday, I'll be doing another hardcore Java one with Mitts. And then just hopefully we'll be doing another add-on one and the TB ones as usual. So I'm hoping next week I'm going to be finally back into everything. That's the plan. Whether I'll stick to it, nobody knows. But what we do know is it's time to end. So thank you all very much for joining us. Thank you all to you, no people in the general chat for listening as well. We'll see you all in the next one. We need a catchphrase to end this on.
Right?
We got one to start it with. We got the Jessie goes, all right. And Slack, whatever his name is, says...
whatever his name is? Wow.
Now we're recording, and I just sort of sit there and listen. We need an outro.
Good
Keep it safe, San Diego.
Huh?
Yeah, that's one of those, signing off. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
What was he saying on Anchorman? I can't remember. Well, it's something San Diego, isn't it?
It's something like that, yeah.
Keep it classy? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Keep it class. Jeez, right, okay. Time to press stop.